Hi everyone, Ashley here and welcome back to Just a Jet. Today I'm bringing you 15 very helpful travel tips, one of which saved me a lot of money, so keep watching. So if you spent any time on my channel at all, you know that half of my channel is about travel. So as I travel around, I pick up some tips and other people tell me tips. Some things work for me, some things don't. So you take what is useful for you out of these tips. So these are things that I've learned over the years traveling. So I've mentioned this on my channel before, but if you are going on a long trip and you are checking a bag already, try to not bring a carry-on. So what I do is I use a collapsible carry-on, like a tote, something that won't take up any room, and I just put it in my check bag on the way out. That way I have a completely free bag to bring back souvenirs or anything that I buy or that your spouse may buy or people that you're traveling with or whatever. You just have all that extra room that's guaranteed on the way back. If maybe you're packing, your things fit in your suitcase on the way back, but it's too heavy, then you can transfer things into your carry-on. So that's something that I always do, and it's definitely saved my butt more than a few times. So my second tip is kind of a no-brainer, but people often overlook it. So always bring an empty water bottle to the airport with you. Obviously you can't bring fluids through security, but once you're on the other side, you know, they want to sell you a bottle of water for $6. So bring an empty water bottle, fill it up on the other side of security, and then you have, you know, free water for your entire trip, not to mention just at the airport. So it's really good to have that on hand and bring it with you throughout the day on your travels. So again, like I said, an easy one, but one that people tend to forget. Tip number 3 is to buy a secure day bag. So if you're traveling to somewhere that's notorious for their pickpocketing, like Paris or London, I think it's a good idea to buy one of the theft safe bags. Obviously, no bag is theft proof, but why not make it a little bit harder for people to get into your stuff. Brands like PackSafe and others are good for that. I'll link ours below and some others if you're interested. I tend not to be like a paranoid, traveler. I don't think you should be looking over your shoulder at every moment, but be aware of your surroundings and, don't make it easy for people to take advantage of you. So I think it's a good idea to just have those if you're in an area that's, if you could be a target for pickpocketing. So tip number 4 is also a no-brainer, but one again that people often just forget about. Always make sure to let your bank and credit card companies know that you are traveling internationally. If your bank sees that you're from Minnesota, but you're getting charges now in Italy, they're going to find that very suspicious and very well can freeze your card until they hear from you. So don't run into that issue. Do yourself a favor. Let your banks and your credit card companies know that you're traveling internationally. They will even ask what countries. They'll put a note in your account, and you shouldn't have any problems. And it will save you a lot of headache in the end. So tip number 5 is just trying to make your life a little bit easier while traveling. Consider choosing solid toiletries over liquids. So obviously, liquids is a whole thing when you're traveling, the size, the quantity, blah, blah, blah. So if you want to try doing like a dry deodorant, a dry shampoo bar, things like that, no body wash, try to like an actual like bar of soap, which you can usually get where you're traveling. But if you want to bring that with you, try to go with solids over liquids, because then you can just bring them, pack them wherever you want in your bags, and it won't be an issue going through security. So tip number 6 is basically how I've managed really never to get jet lag. So when I arrive somewhere that's, significantly different time zone than me, say I land at 2 p.m., but it's in the middle of the night for me, I stay up no matter what. I try to get on the local schedule as soon as possible. Even if I am dead tired by their nighttime, I'll fall asleep immediately, and then I can just get up the next day, and I'm right on track. Now, I'm not saying this will work for everyone. Some people have a much harder time with jet lag. Some people get sick. I've never had that experience, but I've noticed that what works for me is just getting on that local time right away, no matter how painful it is the first day or maybe the first 2 days. You will be thankful days into your trip that you're already adjusted and you can enjoy your trip without being miserable. Tip number 7 is for you travelers like me that love to bring as little as possible and to ensure that we have enough room for everything that we want to bring back. So that is that if you have a piece of clothing or an outfit or a pair of shoes or whatever that you want to bring on your trip with you, but you're ready to let it go, think about taking it with you, using it, but then leaving it behind, like finding somewhere to donate, give it to someone, whatever, and then not bringing it back. So you have that room on the way back, but you got the use out of the item on your trip. I've done that a few times traveling home. I've worn a few pairs of shoes that were kind of just like, and then I've just left them with family members once I got there, and then I had that room to travel back with. So tip number 8 is kind of on that same trend, and that's to pack a capsule wardrobe. On my trip to Europe, I packed a capsule wardrobe, which I'll link above and below. And basically a capsule wardrobe is when all of your clothes, usually following a certain color scheme, all can be mixed and matched together. So everything goes with each other, and so you have a lot of outfit options, but with a small amount of like clothing items. So it's a really great way to like have variety, but travel with a very small amount. And I really loved it for my 2-week trip to Europe, and I'll definitely be doing it again in the future. So tip number 9 is basically just not to be ashamed of the way you like to travel. If you look at a lot of like these travel tip lists, and it's like, don't plan, be spontaneous, just go there and figure it out when you get there. That's not me. I'm a very type A person. I have every day like itineraried out by like the hour at sometimes. So, and sometimes those lists and those articles about being very spontaneous can make you feel like, oh, am I not like getting the most out of my vacation because I'm not being spontaneous? I don't think that's the case. I do a lot of research where I go. I know what I want to see, and I think I make the most of my time by knowing what's happening, when things are going to be open, when what days work best, like location. So I'm not backtracking all over a city over the time that I'm there. So those can kind of be like guilt-inducing. So if you are a planner like me, don't feel bad about planning your vacation to as much detail as you want. But if you're spontaneous, then more power to you. Go ahead. But I definitely feel like if you're a planner, don't feel bad about planning your vacation. Okay, so tip number 10 is that if you already have a workout routine, to try to keep it up on your vacation. So obviously you're going to be indulging more while you're on vacation, and you should, but I find it better, I feel better when I come home and knowing that I haven't completely fell off the wagon when I was on vacation. And of course, you can just quickly run up to the hotel gym and get a quick workout in and then go out on your day, or you can of course incorporate it into where you are. Like when we were in Hawaii, we went on several hikes. Of course, we were outside seeing the island, but we were, getting exercise at the same time. And I think it makes me feel better when I'm doing that on vacation as well. So if you have a workout routine, try to stick to it when you're on vacation. Tip number 11 is also something I've mentioned on my channel, which is to use packing cubes. So my packing video for Europe, which I'll link above, basically showed how I compartmentalized all of the items I was bringing and then packed them in my suitcase. So they're great for keeping things separate, keeping things from getting jostled around in your suitcase. They have a lot of great things. When you're coming back, separating dirty clothes from clean or whatever, they have a lot of uses. So I found that they're invaluable for packing well. So tip number 12 is to pack simple jewelry that can be worn with everything. So maybe simple gold or silver earrings, necklaces, bracelets, anything that you like, but try to keep it simple. I would avoid statement pieces, not only just because that they probably won't go with all of your things, but that they're probably usually heavier than your average delicate jewelry. So something that I do, I just bring a lot of my simple silver jewelry that can go with everything. So I can, still look put together, but I can use those things through the entire trip. So tip number 13 is kind of like 2 tips together. One is making sure that you keep your hotel in the loop on your travel plans. So if you're going to be delayed for any reason, like your flight's delayed, you hit traffic, whatever, and you could be like hours late, make sure you let them know. Because the last thing you want to happen is that, you check-in is at 3, but you don't show up till midnight or 1 o'clock and you find out that your room's been given away. That would be a horrible thing to deal with. So just make sure that you keep them in the loop and they can put a note in your account. And if they're there, great. If someone else, if the shift changes and someone else is there, they'll know that you're coming and they can hold your room for you. And the other tip for a hotel is that if you have any special requirements for like equipment, like often we like to just have oatmeal in the room in the morning, and a coffee machine sometimes works well with that. Sometimes it doesn't. Like I've had coffee machines I open and there's just mold in the inside and stuff. So it doesn't always work well for me to use a coffee machine for the hot water. So calling ahead to see if they have an electric kettle that we can have brought up to the room, things like that. Calling beforehand so you can make plans if they don't have it, or if they do, great, you can let them know that you want to use that. My last 2 tips are basically about saving you time and money. So tip 14 is for if you live in the States, is to consider TSA PreCheck / global entry. So basically, when you pay for global entry, you get TSA PreCheck as well. So global entry is basically a expedited immigration process. So when you come through immigration in the US, you just go to a machine, it takes your picture, and you can bypass some of the lines going through immigration. And then through that membership, you also get TSA PreCheck, which actually has been the most valuable part for us. You just go to that TSA PreCheck line in security. You don't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to take your liquids out. You don't have to take your computer out. You don't have to take your jackets off. You just put your stuff on the, on the belt. It goes through, you go through, and you're out. and it's so much faster. And obviously it's a separate line, so there's way less people to deal with. We found that really, really well. I believe it's $100 for 5 years or something like that. I can't remember. I will link the kind of application below. You apply and then you go in for an interview, because they have to do all this kind of like security screening on you before they let you have it. That is kind of a pain. It took us months to get an interview. And you have to go to a kind of participating airport or office to do that. So that part is a pain, but it does save you a ton of time at the airport for years to come. And so we've really had a really good experience with that, and I would definitely recommend it if you can swing it. So my last tip, tip number 15, has saved me quite a few dollars, and potentially could save me a lot of hassle too, but luckily it hasn't come to that. So the tip is to take a picture of your passport, like the page with your picture and with your passport number and all that. Take that picture for you and whoever you're traveling with. Make sure it's on everyone else's phone, so everybody has everyone else's stuff. Because it's not a good idea to travel daily with your passport. You should just put it in the hotel safe and leave it there. You don't want to lose your passport while you're out. So why it saved me some money is that when you're going to stores that will give you tax back because you live out of the country, and when you leave the country you can claim the tax back, they need to see your passport, and so they need to put all that on the paperwork. So I was able just to open my camera, open my photos, and I could just show the picture of my passport and they could take all the information down. So I didn't have to carry around my passport, but then we wouldn't be getting those we wouldn't be getting the tax back on those items if we didn't have that information. So we got, like, when you're buying an expensive item, tax can be pretty hefty. So it's good to get all that money back because you don't live in their country. So, and then also, of course, worst case scenario, you lose your passport. I mean, at least that's something to show. You can go to the embassy and you have some kind of proof and they can look you up or whatever. I've never had to deal with that, thankfully, so I'm not sure of the process, but it can't hurt to have a picture of your passport information. So that's a big one that I actually saw on another tip video years ago, and I did it for my Europe trip, and it helped me save money on the taxable items that we bought in Paris recently. So that's a great tip. So yeah, those are just 15 tips that I had off the top of my head. I'd definitely like to do more videos of this as I more come to mind, more tip videos. So if you have any good travel tips, please leave them below, because it's always great to share them, things that you haven't thought of and that could work for you. So yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.